Today I'm looking at this and I'm going to talk about if I can get this working again. This here is the very first 360 camera that I had, or anyone else had actually, because this is the Ricoh Theta from 2013, and it's now in a bit of a sorry state because when I went to plug it in, and this is where we plug it in to charge because it has only an internal battery, I plugged it in here, I charged it over micro USB, but it wasn't charging up because the battery had died and it is an internal battery. So I prized it open with tools like this. For the majority of it, I used my thumb and fingers and fingernails. I just prized it open, and I prized it all open all around. And at that point, I found there is a better way to do this, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So first of all, when I got this out, it wasn't in this beaten up shape. It was in a much better shape because it hadn't been opened. It was sticky, but it didn't have this dirt on. Now what I found is this sticky stuff is just coming off. So it was originally, when I bought it, this white colour, and I could get all this sticky stuff off, but it's the very last thing I would do. I'm not sure what it is. It feels like it's some sort of coating. I will later try and get all this off, but for now I'm going to leave it on. Like I say, I prized it open and I found that various sort of screws and things came out. This didn't open particularly well, but it did open eventually. There are screws down the side. Now I think, had I known, and there was no way to know, I would have maybe opened this and pulled this metal bit off here. And once you pull this metal bit off here, you can see that there are some screws here, and I could have undone the screws and I could have got the top off, and then this metal bit seems to be pushed back in and it seems to stick okay. This was the problem initially. This was a Ricoh battery. This just doesn't work. It just doesn't hold its charge anymore. Thankfully, I had this Ricoh camera, and this is a WG30. It's a tough, rugged camera. And what I did was I thought maybe the battery from this will work in this. So I opened this tough camera. I took out the battery. It's exactly the same size. They're both 3.7 volts. They are different models, but they look pretty much the same. And if I turn it over, it does line up with this one. This obviously goes a different way around. I then put this in like so. And then I found that I could charge this and it would work. So if I turn it on, this isn't a good sign because this should be blue, but this should stay on, and that shouldn't be red. But look what happens. Here we get flashing here. Now unfortunately that flashing here and here means there is an error. If I hold this button down, hold this button down, and then press the on button, I don't know what this mode is. It's like it's a firmware update mode or something along those lines. But I was able to use my phone, and I was able to connect my phone via the Ricoh Theta smartphone app to this Ricoh Theta. So it's working in that I can access the camera via the smartphone app. When I took a picture and triggered it via the smartphone, it wouldn't take a picture. So I could access the memory and I could get existing pictures off, but I could do no more. So unfortunately, I don't think that I can revive this. I'm just going to turn this off. So I think this is the problem. I think the flashing means there's an error with the motherboard. I can't see anything else that's wrong. So this motherboard has a connector that goes in here. So I just push that in, but I've tried several times to get that to work. This bit here is loose, but actually it's connected by a ribbon. So I don't think there's anything untoward about that. I don't think that's the issue. I can't see any other issues with things. So unfortunately, I don't think I would be able to get this working. It says on the internet through Ricoh, if you do have this problem, you need to send it into Ricoh because it's likely they'll need to replace the motherboard. But I do not think that me taking apart actually broke it. So I'm going to clean this up, this shell, so it looks like it's in its former glory, and put it back together. So sadly, even though the battery's died and I'm able to replace the battery, I'm not able to save this by the looks of it. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Goodbye.